Janice is reading first. That is the case. Okay. So Janice Sapigao is from Santa Clara. Did I say it right this time? Yes, good. Is from Santa Clara. She was I think, the poet laureate for a couple of years, Santa Clara, and then until recently was doing a program for youth, a poet laureate youth program in Santa Clara. I don't know exactly what that was. Maybe she'll say a word or two about it. But it sounds like a great thing because, of course, it's very important that poetry not just be for the ancient people, of which some of us, like Jerry and I, are part of those who are practicing to become the ancestors, but practicing. We're not, but uh, uh, yeah, Janice is of Filipina heritage, and she's. Well, I'm just delighted that she's here, and I'm very much looking forward to my first opportunity to hear her share her verse with us. So, without further ado.
All right, let's do it. Yeah, let's do it. Thanks, Michael. Thank you. That was a great intro. Yeah, thanks. All right. Hi, everyone. I'm just going to read. Wow, it's so loud. I like the sound of this microphone. I like it. Yeah, I don't know. I just want to say that. Yeah, Michael, that was a great intro. We just met 15 minutes ago, so I'll take that. Okay, here we go. I am here also to celebrate Rachelle because your chapbook was just released from Nomadic Press. And I don't know, I've always loved Nomadic Press's books. And so I'm just happy you got, I don't know, you have one with them, And so I'm here to read, but really I'm just here to read and get out of the way so I could make sure that Rachelle gets on the microphone. So yeah, I'm hoping to warm it up for you. I'm going to read maybe 3, maybe 4 poems. It just depends. Yeah. Let's see. I'm a little tired, but how are you all doing? Y'all okay? Yeah. Oh, thanks. I love that. Oh, yeah. Thumbs up. Thank you. We see it. We see it. Okay. I'm just gonna read. Yeah. Okay. This first poem is called "I've Heard Enough, but the Music Plays On." And here we go. On the dance floor of this community event, a whisper comes my way, asks for my name. I slow blink the length of it, say I came here for the DJ. And I clock this man for new, a collared shirt and a crowd of tees. He asks where in the Bay I'm from, what city. Small talk spins out of us, and we yell like we both have headphones on. Conversation competes with the speakers, so maybe we are scratched from the start. Maybe it's just this man who doesn't like to be shushed mid-sentence when I see the DJ drum up the mix. Maybe it's just the way the work week beats us down that we lose our shit and learn to make excuses for the record collections of small angers we place on the shelves of our shoulders. All this man sees is a turban behind the tables. In my ear, he makes a terrorist out of the DJ. And when I don't laugh, in fact, I rally together all the parts of me that could swing. The red straw in my golden drink stays a wallflower. In another life, my homegirls help me. But in this life, I say, yeah, shit's not funny. In another life, he daps up the DJ, calls him his friend, preaches brotherhood of brown skin. How many times have I repeated this story wanting the outcome to be different? What I want to be untrue is the too smooth way he leans into me again. He murmurs a fuck you, makes me a bitch. An echo I still replay, a reverb of walking away. A swig, a standstill. The crowd dances over a frequency so static. In another life, we become the mad science of a night. Not the lifelessness of a party gone sour. Maybe on one night we would have been heat pressed onto wax, stamps, skin, entry. But I know the same matter that makes weapons makes music. Yeah. True story. That was, it took me 12 years to write that. And I had thought about it every now and then for 12 years, and then it just came, so that poem came in maybe 12 minutes, But I was thinking about that. 12 years and 12 minutes. And I was reading today, there's a poet who put out a call for submissions for poems on slow violence. And I was like, that's what that is. That is a slow violence, Okay, I'm gonna read like, I don't know, Filipino diaspora poems. Just two. One of them is really short. My friend has this earrings brand, and she asked people to write poems so that she could like talk about the earrings and what they mean, like in terms of Filipino culture. So I sent her my poem way too late, so she didn't even get to use it, but I get to use it to read to you all. So right now the poem is just after the earring brand Brown Girls. It's really short. Brown Girls. Everywhere I go, I look for homeland. I search for the songs of ancestors that shaped the skyline, called honor, called here, called history. I've heard that brown was discovered with dusk, which means that we are light, that we hug the parts of ourselves others refuse to see. History, to me, means to look unflinchingly at what is jagged and piercing, at what is waiting for me to close my eyes and forget. To remember, then, is my responsibility. Listen with me to our languages longing to love us back. Come with me to learn the stories that have been severed from us. Let the softest and sharpest sections of what we have yet to grow, let it adorn us and make us whole. Brown Girls. Aw, thank you. All right. Well, okay, thank you for clapping. It's very encouraging in like a really small group. I appreciate that. Yeah, where do we want to go? Do you want to continue with the sunlight? Yeah, let's do sunlight. Okay, does anyone use like Spotify to listen to their music? Yeah, unfortunately, like that's how I listen to most of my music these days as well. And you know how like on Spotify it will curate a list for you and it'll be like any song radio, it'll be like, I don't know, like Ariana Grande's Thank You Next Radio, or something like that. So I just took that after like the latest Harry Styles album, and the song Daylight. So I like wanted to look at and listen to Daylight Radio. So that's what this is. Yeah, Daylight Radio. Okay. It's kind of like I don't write love poems, but it's kind of a love poem. I don't know. Okay, Janice, just freaking read it. Okay, Daylight Radio. Featuring Harry Styles, Outkast, UGK, Lauryn Hill, Joss Stone, Common, Eric Benet, and Tamia. If I was a bluebird, and I don't mean 140 characters sent on a digital line. I don't mean a small sadness sitting by the window while minutes drip down from unseen clouds, or a warbler carrying the sky on its back. I mean, I would fly to ya, slip between cerulean and indigo, navigate aerial terrains of aqua and lapis lazuli. I would send my blues away, use them to engineer a next meal from a route headed east. I'd CC every girl around town. You'd be the spoon. I'd dip you in honey in a land of lakes where inside me is a depth of you to practice magic, turning water into a syrup-scented sip. Can I compete with your morning coffee? Can we clap an audience of energy into your heart? I heard someone order a Gibraltar at a coffee cart the other day, and it's espresso cupped by its bottom into a glass, held there. I mean, it was suspended, waiting to be imbibed, careful lips in delicate perch. Can I keep you up for days? Can we share sweet things? We can find out why 6 side-by-side shots are called a flight. I want to text all my friends saying that I chose this cutie pie with whom I want to be. My favorite dessert, the truth and not a fable. I would kiss you anywhere. In the visitor center, in Dearborn with a latte in hand, over breakfast with friends and fam in the booth, the parking lot at Denny's, the Warriors game where they take another sad L. I can lessen the space between our lips and state lines. I would absolutely stare at stick trees and miles of yellowed grass and be misled by dirt roads and rural towns to climb towards you. I would again hope to travel along flatlands dotted by billboards and Bible verses and tractors just to hold your hand. You can be high noon and midnights, lyrics over a beatbox, my joy, my dream. I never knew a day could come. You remind me of the divine, to warm the lonely nights rolling by. I would fly or drive, I would take a train, I would learn to trust snow, which is to say, I would come for you. If I needed a cure for the blues, could you be daylight? Like the bright orange sun the size of a shoreline? If you ask me, I'd say yes, knowing that on the other spin of its ochre is you. Yeah. Oh, thanks. Wow. Diaspora and daylight poems, you know? Was that 4? 1, 2, 4. Yeah, I have like 6 in my hand. I'm going to read. Thank you. What's your name? What? Claire? Well, when you get up here, Claire, I'm going to expect 4 too. Okay. I think, but that was 3. I'll do like maybe one more. What? I'll do one more. Okay, bye. Thank you for coming. I know that's who I am. Okay, one more. Yeah. Okay, last one. A diaspora poem. This poem is called The Diaspora Almighty. And right now I'm trying to write like public health poems. Actually, like I was doing this before the pandemic happened. And so anyway, this one is about, you'll see, whatever. Okay. The Diaspora Almighty. This is my last poem. My mom makes friends with the nurses, and together they make a country. She brings them food, and together they are a farm, a restaurant without pricing, a secret menu. And I eat with her at a station labeled 17 or room A, depending on the availability. And we are alone in a sterile hotel without walls, but curtains, a luxury without the privilege. Each guest is a room, open and observable. The nurses, they eat with her in a break room without us. My mom and her new friends, they eat lunch in separation. They are 2 countries apart. A people divided, a nation under no God, no mercy. I believe in my mother, the maker of the bombest adobo and rice, of spaghetti and hot dogs, of Vienna sausages. The nurses pledge allegiance to their patients, their indivisible labor. When we call for someone to come help us, anyone, a nurse comes, quickly comes running when a machine beeps out of rhythm in our church. Nurses, they are the conductors, with answers, priests to a high symphony, signing, singing, all the liquids with long names. They call for the gowns, washed and warm, with liberty and phone calls, with medicine everlasting, the diaspora almighty, and on the last day of chemo, the nurses take pictures and selfies with my mother, creator of Pinakbe and Lumpiang Shanghai. The nurses are profiled, memorialized, and marry. Let her be healed. And if we never come back here to infusion or oncology, let it be holy in the nurses' names. Amen. Thank you. All right. Yes, thanks. Holding pieces of paper in front of people and reading always feels like reading your homework. So just thank you for letting me read my homework to you.
Wow. No, it's something really wonderful, emotional, and authentic, and especially to me, the last one. You think of your, it's really just very, very moving. I'm very moved by it. But thank you so much. So Rachelle Escamilla is going to read next, and I think she describes herself as a Central Coast Chicana, and she has 3 collections of poetry, Imaginary Animal, me drawing a picture of me, kind of apostrophe N, it's very mysterious, and then Space Junk from the Heavenly Palace, which is very nice. And it's 3 down, and heaven knows how many to go. So, Rachelle Escamilla.
Okay, well, thank you all for being here. And Janice, thank you so much. Janice also blurbed my book, so I feel super special. All right, so I'm just going to read through. The poems don't really have titles, but I'll give you the premise of the book. So I was standing watching the Monterey Bay, and I saw this thing fall from the sky, and I was like, is that a missile? Like, are we going into World War III? Or like, is that a rock? Like, is there a comet falling? It was just something. It was falling, and it was just fell, and then it disappeared. And so I asked my partner, who's a big astronomy nerd, and he was like, oh, he looked it up. And he was like, oh, that was the Chinese space station just had a chunk fall off of it. So you just watched the chunk of the Chinese, and the space station is called the Heavenly Palace, Tiangong. So I had lived in China for 2 years. I've never written about China. So I kind of felt like that was the beginning of writing. It's not, the book is not about China, but for some reason it felt like that I needed to write after that. So all of these poems were written in a very specific amount of time. I didn't have a lot of time. I had 4 jobs and a small child, and I was driving all over the place to collect poetry to run my poetry radio show. So I was writing these on Instagram, in my Instagram stories, and then they became a book. So here goes. Space Junk from the Heavenly Palace. It isn't that the octagon gets in the way of my body. It's that you are just far enough away to be something like a planet. All of my desires are tempered by time and elementals like laundry and deadlines. All I want to do is drive to you, silently enter your bedroom, and give you all of my earthly blessings, my endlessness, my empty. Our escape into ourselves is revolution. Our survival speaks. I am not a witch or a revolutionary. I am just a poor brown woman who found you amongst the dying embers of this moon. I am a galactic nomad, my darling. In another life we could have been, our house would have been. We would enter and exit rooms together and not. Our time was greens and blues, coffers of black tea and conchas. But this space-time continuum dumped itself onto us, and we have been in chaos. How is it that when I'm with you, I'm not in chaos? There's no undoing the thing about time, you know. It will go, and so will we. And on this sandy memory, I'll always remember you. Something like a perfect blue sky through a wide-leaved ornamental tree. I thought time would move me, stir this cuerpo, but even in the solitude of this spaceship, in the minutia of inventory, in the empty of the cargo bay, I think of you. How can you exist when I am here alone? All of this ocean between us, sharp as steel, glass breakers, chromatic swell, no shore. A veces, yes, sometimes you are so bright, I can't tell the difference between the sky and the rows of plastic over dirt in Salinas. We are people too. Okay. Someday you must live sleepless like me, so you can see the way the ocean granite lights up in the early morning moon. And how do I explain the pattern of the redwood sorrel and their ethereal purple petals? I live beyond this galaxy. I cannot walk a path without you on my mind, without your eyes the same color as a displaced mud mezclada con mica, the way my whole self slips into your mouth, like toes in creek drag. This breeze is for you. The collapse is coming. Okay. All right. This is called Time and Temper. Coyote bush and chaparral with sunlight, soft sagebrush and streams of mica. Now I know it isn't you, it's me, my beaming self. I would have loved you for 1,000 lifetimes, but I'm back now. Boots on solid ground, no more agony with every nothing, nor wretched desperation over all the places you said we'd see. Your golden mouth lies. Oh, but the licking. And so this is what life does. It dulls the senses. It says, Rachelle, you're a person, not a fire, not a star, not an endless, not a void of pain and sorrow and struggle and brick walls. And you're just a man I could have loved, with everything a woman like me has, with voltas and with verbs. Okay. So I guess I am a love poet. I write about love, apparently. Okay. I left the cosmic coastline and came to form just south of Monterey. I thought I'd leave the cosmic coastline and come to form, but I was pulled back by the native thistle, the browning leaves, and the pelicans who almost seem communal. I know once I leave this shore what I face. Maria Juarez dead at 18 months from a preventable respiratory illness. A baby boy denied a diaper because Border Patrol said he's too old to have one. We are ancient, the sun god and the poet, and so we isolate. Come to the river with me is sound. This place where love is sound is sound. Form with me, the rock facing north is form. Divide hard dirt is form. Cry at pebbled shore is sound. Me in my most natural form is form. Me in the crook of your arm is form. I'm afraid of reality. Okay. I'm going to read a couple more from this section, and then I'm going to finish with the last bit. In this light, all things brown are more beautiful. In this light, all things brown are more beautiful, as if our sadness and beauty is measured by glassy gray skies and chronic ocean. And the dunes are greener, and the yellows of the turning fields are more yellow, and even the invasive ice plant thick with purloined limbs shimmer in this morning's blessings. But my sorrow exists for me to exist. My sorrow exists for me to exist. The barracks with boarded windows are weathered and will be torn down. Someday, someone will build new homes over my body, and the ghost of you will exist only in text and sky. But I loved you for a time, and you burned every synapse, and my feet hurt. But limbs are also memories. You are not a god. That is to say, I don't have to burn my body to receive you. There's no falling because we do not edge on the silver of stars or mirror the dark empty of they who tore me limb from limb, they for whom all the candles succumb. I cannot live in the chaos of things that, I lived in the chaos of that thing that gods are good at. But not you. I saw the miner's lettuce today and the bush lupine. I thought I had nothing to give you, but you gave me this poem, this thing that I thought was dead, this thing that even the stars couldn't supplicate. Okay, and I'm going to go towards the end. This is the last in the first section of the book, and then I'm just going to read a couple from the last section of the book. It is not my light that burns. It is not my light that burns. It's the non-light they ever had. It's the traveling through land that changed hands with babies huddled in arms, and who knows if they even wanted those babies. It's not me who wakes in the morning stars and jumps to work to expel this endless stream of all the bodies of all the bodies of bodies and bodies of all the bodies and bodies of all the bodies, like mine and not like mine, but mostly the ones whose world is rotten with obligation. I cannot empty myself fast enough for all of their desires to run through me. I don't drive in the wind and follow mountain paths to look for the center of the universe for me. It's not for me. It's not for me. I escape because they need escape, because they called me to this life that they couldn't live, the lives they lost crossing the desert or the river, or the stagnant lives in a detention center holding cell. How does a brown body exist in the world of white? Is it always beneath? Always beneath? So morning stars, coastal granite, poison oak, I come to you as a vessel of multitudes, as absolutely nothing. Okay, that's the end of the first section. I'm going to read. So during the pandemic, I have my daughter was started. She was 2, just to be 3, and we couldn't do anything, right? All we did was stay home, and we baked a lot of things. And when I had a moment to escape, whenever someone would watch her, I would drive to Big Sur and go to this estuary where the salt water and the fresh water mix, and I would dive in the water. It was cold as fuck. But I always swam There was never anyone there. I had to jump fences to get in. I was always worried someone was going to kick me out. No one ever did. So it was kind of the way that I healed myself during the pandemic. And so I felt like I do still feel like that river talks to me when I show up. Like it's like someone is speaking to me and telling me to do things. And of course, it's probably just whatever it is. I don't want to say what I think it is. Whatever. Anyway, okay. This is called I Went to the River. I went to the river and saw the gust blow through the trees and drop like leaves. Yeah. Sorry. Let me just start that again. I went to the river. I saw the gust blow through the trees and drop the leaves like petals. Yeah, like petals. The river said, if you just listen to the sounds of the pebbles and the stones on top of the red sand, and if you just listen to the tide going out, you can hear enough music to fill your glass and a few others. She said, go find the place where the salt and the fresh water mix. So I did. The river said, hold on to that blanket with 2 hands because the wind is blowing. Said, hold on to the blanket. Said, you can play in the wind, she said, but hold on to the blanket. Put it down when you're done, she said. Sit and rest, mija. Eat something, mija. Go home. I'm going to finish with two more. This is called We Are All Ruins. We are all ruins, daughter. Like the jade cove on the coast, sandstone, sunburned lupine pods, molcajetes etched in granite. Go, go, mamas, go. Put the petals you picked on ancestor rock. Pray, mamas, pray. And I'm going to finish with La Llorona. If you don't know the legend of La Llorona, I think that Mexican moms do a really good job of telling really scary stories to their kids, scares the shit out of them so they don't do certain things. La Llorona is one of those. So this is a woman who cries by bodies of water. I believe now that they tell us that so that we don't play alone by bodies of water so we don't drown. But there are lots of versions of this story. One version says that she killed them out of a crazy rage over her lover because they were her lover's kids. I don't like that one. I like the one that my cousin told me, which he believes that La Llorona was a woman who could see the future. And when she saw the conquistadores coming in, she ran and she killed her children to save them from the rape and slavery that was going to ensue once the Spanish arrived. So I like that story better than killing for some dude. So I'll finish with La Llorona. We used to be wolves. Then they blamed Malinche for our mixed up shit. I know why she drowned her babies. Who would wish a life in cages? Of girls who only know where they are by the designs in the stucco ceilings. Babies passed around at Disneyland. Girls face down dead in the desert. Daughters living under the bodies of men. Trapped mothers forced to police skirts. What did she hear when the she-wolf grabbed her babies and said, I love you, so I will kill you? The sound of a horse? The breaking of a branch? Was it all in her head? Who am I to judge the woman who cries for her children by bodies of water? Tell me, what do I do? The rules of my culture are eaten by other cultures, and the cultures are all ruled by men. Cry to me. How do I keep her from drowning? Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. Oh my goodness. Wow. No, the evening has lived up to my great expectations. Indeed, very emotional and authentic, and really, oh man, great, wonderful stuff. So we're going to take like a 5-minute break, give or take a moment here or there, and then we'll have Jerry. How many folks are in the open session? Like a handful, maybe, or Alan and Claire, I think, are down, right? Are they down or some? Yeah. So I'll have. So anyway, like a 5 minute, a loose 5 minute break, and then we'll have the open session. I want again. Yeah. The two features, man. Really, my mind is quite blown. So very nice. Very nice.
Very generous. Yeah. Go you. You.
You guys touched that emotion. I mean, it's just moments. Like, oh my goodness.
Let's take a picture up here.
Oh yeah, sure. Let's get your book in it though.
Oh yeah, let's get my book.
I didn't bring anything.
It's okay.
I'm gonna hold your. You wanna hold it together?
Yeah, and we'll hold it together.
If you allow me.
Yeah.
Rachelle, do you have copies of your book?
I do. In the
Oh.
trunk.
Rachelle has copies of her book if anyone would be interested. And of course, you're welcome to donate a
Like
few
they're precious.
Like
pennies to the
cholas
poets.
or something.
I was thinking like elementary school.
Okay,
kids
that's
present
cuter.
a certificate.
Especially bad
Yeah.
people.
Cute.
I always pay my rent in pennies.
Say what?
Say whiskey.
Whiskey. I never did that one.
Me
before.
either. Is it because it like the way that?
Yeah.
Oh, it's better than cheese.
It is better than cheese. Yeah.
I'm just.
No, you can be that way. That's fine. No, I'm not a Leo.
What are you?
I'm a
Wait, let me
Cancer.
guess. Ah, damn it! I couldn't guess.
No,
I wasn't
sorry.
gonna guess Cancer, but
No,
yeah.
I'm a Cancer
I
with
think I was
with
gonna
worse
guess
places.
Gemini.
No, I'm not Gemini.
Cancer makes sense. I'm Cancer.
Are you? Yeah, that's why you're a little sensitive.
Hella,
Leo's usually
hella sensitive.
Leo's usually alright.
Oh
You guys
really?
are like,
I'm July Leo though.
oh, okay.
I think that's different.
No, I have all Earth placements everywhere else.
Really? That's wild. I have no Earth. Yeah. I was like, I was telling my friend that, and she was like, "You don't need it." And I was like, "Cool,
Ah,
thank
good.
you. I don't need it.
You don't need
I'll
it.
just like ground myself in something."
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. Thank you for taking the pic.
Yes. Do you have a copy of my book?
I have a PDF, so
Okay. No.
I think I might just buy one.
No, you can do one. I know.
You can try.
It's an action shot. Good, I like that one too. Can I get into your trunk?
Can I get it to your
Yes. You bet. Let me.
Do you know when you're gonna leave? Sorry to interrupt. We're like having a private convo. Should I just go on? Oh, okay. I was like, I can see myself out.
Dude, I don't know. I've been.
That's what you told me about.
When I used to come here, we all used to like not have shit, and then we'd be preparing data, and so we just, I don't know. It was cute, and like they were never like, I guess people like compare it. So I won't say they weren't ever that.
I know what
but,
you mean. I know what you mean. I remember you both, all of you telling me that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was like the style here, and so I felt something possessed me to write something like that today.
Oh, you
I
have
have that.
something today.
I'm not pleased with it, and then I have a couple old things that like
Okay.
time.
I'm gonna go engage in some nicotine.
Okay. Yeah, you should read it. I'll just send you this thing.
Okay.
What do you read?
This was the first poem I wrote in. You'll hear it.
Okay.
This was the first thing I wrote in like
5 years.
not 5 years. Maybe like I think the last time I finished a poem was for some. You ever been to Sacred Grounds Cafe?
No, but you all told me about it. Did
So
you go too?
she went once.
No, twice.
You went twice.
Okay.
Oh yeah, she went twice.
That's what they were telling me about before.
But there was they held like on Zoom open mics
Oh, so y'all
over the
went.
pandemic, and I did one, and so this must have been 2020. So it's
Wow.
been 3 years. Yeah,
What?
back on the scene.
Okay, yeah, it's time. I'm trying to send you this thing. This other one, I think it's like the Roots Slam. Did you go to the Roots Slam too when they were?
No.
I think it's like a similar vibe, like
It's like
East Bay
popping.
vibes.
Yeah.
East Bay vibes. This one is in Berkeley now. It's a different one, but same people. Similar vibe.
You ever go to Starry Cloud?
I used to go there.
School?
Yeah. Yeah, I think the Berkeley Slam there. No, that's at La Peña. Berkeley Slam. The person who runs it now is like is different, so maybe you should check that one out. I don't know when it is, but it seems cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
they
trying to
left.
get
I
back
know
out.
they
John
left
is,
like in the middle of their.
He's always had up, but that fool is writing. He's been writing a book over the past couple of years. Like he has a deal with a publisher, and they have like a team.
Yeah,
for him
that was
and shit.
weird.
He's working on a poetry poetry book, and then he's also just recently started writing a novel.
Wow.
Which is pretty cool. Yeah.
Wow.
He
That's
loves
great.
his studies.
Wow. That's excellent. Is he at state too?
He's at state. He's doing education actually. So he's an English major,
Wow.
but he's trying to be a teacher.
What's your major?
It's a lot to explain. It's called Beckett.
Oh, that's what that is. The radio show.
Broadcast and electronic communication arts.
Oh, cool.
So
Okay.
it's like just an umbrella major for hella like media production shit.
Oh, that's what you want to do.
I
Okay,
guess.
cool. Okay. Maybe, yeah. What? I don't know. Art school after or something.
Art school.
If you want to. I'm trying to find this thing to send you. Can like airdrop it or something. Oh, no, I'm trying to find it. Here it is. Let's see. Well, this one just passed, but it's typically every last Thursday of the month.
Cool.
Universe, but actually it was interesting back in the
This
day.
one just passed, but if you just follow the person who made it,
Listen to the same radio
you'll
station.
be able to see when they show the next one.
For sure.
Share, airdrop. Do you have your thing on?
So Jeremy, as soon as you
Should be
get back
just
in,
Nick phone.
Nick phone. Okay, it's sending. Cool. So just follow him, and then Breaker Open Mic is in Berkeley. That one just passed by. Yeah. So you'll see like on his post there's hella break room stuff.
How's
That's
students
the-
at Skyline right now?
Huh?
How's students
So,
at
I
Skyline?
think
Stress, because the scholarships are due today. Yeah. Stress. Do you remember that? Do you remember the scholarship?
I'm like a well-oiled machine when it comes to organization.
I don't know if I applied.
Didn't I?
No, you
Because
have
should
to.
send
No, you didn't apply because you're in my
a
fall
mini
class.
bio.
Spring
Yeah.
has to be make spring
I make my
official.
spring class
That
and
could
then
be
apply.
on
Yeah.
the,
I don't think I
Well,
got an email from you though.
I'm sure y'all will.
well, I have your card. It has.
Damn.
Well, I was in
I could
promise.
sworn.
Oh,
So
so
she
you're
was
gonna
good.
get like a
Well,
long-term
in any case, I'm going to.
scholarship.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay. You know, promise are kind of
Shorty
struggling
that
to get
still
more students to do
email
it
the
now.
store.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
with a
I
little
don't know.
bio
I think
of
it's
some sort to put it in
maybe
the
meetings.
I think enrollment is
So if I don't
pretty
give you, I
low,
should email this.
but also there's like free tuition now
Thanks.
Do nothing to
in
hear
San
from me.
Mateo County,
What's
which is
that?
super
Do
cool.
nothing
So
to
I think
hear from
students
me.
are less
Do that
inclined to
Whatever
do
that means.
promise because
Okay.
everything's free.
I think it's pretty
And
good.
then like promise has all the requirements.
Another one I
so
like is
people are like
God
not
and
sure.
One.
Is it
I don't know what that
yeah?
means,
Yeah.
but I
We
was,
didn't even
I
do
was,
the requirements.
my
I
God,
don't remember.
don't worry, God and
I
One.
just remember like GPA.
They
I
wouldn't
think
give
you
you
were
the best
early
scholarship.
promise.
Well,
Yeah.
that's-
Were you like
You
early?
have to take
Yeah.
So
responsibility.
maybe that's why. I think they added hella requirements.
Nothing could be
Your
more.
class left.
I had
Well,
to
I see
do
that.
a monthly
Yeah,
advisor
but
meeting and
Oh,
Okay,
who was
yeah,
your
so I'll wait to hear
advisor?
from you then. Thanks.
Alejandra?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I know. She
She was
there.
cool.
I think she's still there. I don't
Yeah.
remember. I think so.
Hopefully she's there.
Yeah.
She was really helpful.
Aw.
But yeah. It was just GPA and the advisor meetings.
Oh, okay. So it's like
From
once
what I
every month.
remember.
Once a month or?
Yeah, once a month.
Okay.
Yo, is several people.
Okay.
Ryan Leskier,
Yeah.
Nate Novato,
Yeah.
Gubatina.
Yeah.
They're all still there.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I love them.
No, Christine.
Hi, can I hug you? Yeah, please.
I knew you were gonna cry. How are you feeling?
I came so late.
It's
though.
okay. I'll just read you my poem. This is my friend Christine.
Hi.
Nicholas.
Nice to meet you.
Nicholas used to be in my English class like 4 years ago.
Crazy, yeah. Crazy.
So weird. The sharing column.
You can sit here. Oh, this is
Hey, hi.
Rachelle. This is my friend Christine.
Hello.
We
We smell
both.
like cigarettes.
Oh, okay. We both just read. Oh yeah. It's like English. Where do you want to sit? You want like a little outdoor chair? You want like a? Okay. Let's sit here.
Rochelle, is it true that nomadic press is
Yes.
Want to
kaput?
get on the open
Yes.
mic?
What a shame.
Yes. Yes. It is a shame.
How many books did they put out?
They put out,
Dozens
well,
of
I
them.
mean, they put like 10 per year for the cohort just
Oh,
alone.
For how long?
cool.
There's a, like, they call it cohort for how long? 12 years.
Oh, wow, what a project.
November when he came to that work thing.
120 minimum, plus all the other ones.
And then we went to
Wow.
Yeah.
So who was the presiding genius behind all that?
J.K. Fowler?
Yeah?
Yeah. But he's
All right, so we're going to have the open mic. Jerry, how many people are 4 people in addition to you and me?
There's 5 people on the list.
Plus you and me. Okay. All right, so we're going to do the open mic session. I'll start with a couple of little things, and then Jerry will go, and then we'll go through the list. So this is something I wrote on my mother's birthday in 2006, and it's not about my mother, but it is. At midnight, the dog's year roars out of the chute. My mother turns 89, and I slide in my restless half-sleep toward the light of no moon, toward a lantern of no light. First my pale dog barks, then my broken dog howls. A stricken star looms over me. The night is dark as Java, cold and sweet. Cold winter air runs into me. Tomorrow a half-ton bull named Pajarito will leap into the stands at a bullfight in Mexico City while I am getting a haircut from Raul. But I don't know this yet. Your name haunts me still and dances on my tongue and throat as I struggle not to say it. So, that's a version of a love poem, kind of. And this is, so it's interesting, that was for my mother, like the 10th anniversary of her death is actually this year. And what's interesting, my remaining living brother brought to my attention that our oldest brother, our youngest brother, and our mother all died on July the 5th. And it was one of those things, it just astounded me. I was like, wow, July 5th, I don't know what to say. And I have a few friends who are very mystical, who have some theories, but I won't go into that. But this is something I wrote for my, Romanian brother many years ago, probably in the mid-70s. And he's dealing with some, grave health problems and whatever, because that's the drawback of getting older. The story gets richer and richer, more complicated and challenging as you go on. But this is written in the bloom of our respective youths. To the heat, brother, 100 red horses are harnessed to the heat. Their blood pulp the sun tramples, their blood feverish seed. The horses are hell-bent and red. Brother, the horses are tired of the adolescence that lasts forever and the death doomed to wait. The horses are black as ancient gums, black as phlegm and funerals, and they are many less than 100. Brother, the horses are out of the gate fast, their riders lean women whose caps are bright. Brother, the horses are 4, pale as the carriage they pull. They stand at noon and gallop all night. Brother, there are 2 horses. One is for you, and one is for me, and one is the shadow of the other. There is one horse, brother, shy as a stone, and it won't stop. It won't stop. Okay, thank you. Now Jerry is going to read or something to that effect. Sing.
This is a song I wrote about my father years ago. Well, he's a worker of a stone. He builds the highways where I roam. He's a builder of a bridge, taking me so far from home. He's a sower of a seed, harvesting everything I need. He's a fisher of a sea. He has a story to tell me. Well, he's a lover, she's a woman who never left him all alone. He's a gambler, just a loser. I'll forget him when I'm grown. When I remember those words of wisdom, now that I am not so young. Oh, keep your freedom, follow your footsteps. Maybe you're stepping to a different drum. Where is my father from? Like a mirror through thick and thin, the face that stilled the storm. Is it me or is it him? Well, I had a dream that he was a genius and the master of his trade, a true hero I could worship, a born leader he was made, and it was an answer to a question, a direction of a way. Now there's no history to a lesson I could only learn today. Now he's a shadow of his son. His time is gone, his deeds were done. He was a soldier fighting for freedom. Well, I guess his war was won, and I must follow like rain on a tombstone. In his hollow I must run. Oh, I hear his laughter like waves on the ocean. I see his smile in the setting sun. Well, there is a maker of a wall, but one day it too will fall. When that shepherd's silver trumpet raises the warning to one and and a fountain. Therefore, all who gather to him, be not forsaken. Drink his waters, hear his call. You. Let's see, we've got about 5 poets. So, what do we got all night?
No, I think 3 to 5 minutes would be good.
So, I guess we got everything there, huh? Okay, so, Claire.
Okay, now some of you might scoff at me or roll your eyes, but I think that there's a fine line sometimes between poetry and flash fiction. I think actually it's pretty much just how you show it on the page. This is a piece of, I'd say, flash fiction, and I taught for 30 years, still teaching, and the area I taught in, there was tons and tons of meetings. Just like your whole body felt like you didn't like they boiled lead over you or something. It was just horrible. And I mean, it's like it's bad enough that you're a moron, but they have to you have to verbalize your moronic thought process. It's just like, oh. And so what I ended up doing a lot was, instead of doodling images, I doodled words. And I would just sort of throw words together while someone's going on and on and on about something. And actually, some stories have come from that. A novel came from that. And this piece, someone had said the crowd had gone. And so I just went with it. And so this came from a boring meeting. And I think it's something that everyone can relate to. Foot and mouth. The crowd had gone. He was alone. The loudness, the rumbles of jeers and laughter had ebbed, and he felt like one of those depressions made by a tide as it fled the rocks and shells. He touched his face, fingers stroking smears of vomit and blood, and he poked his tongue around his mouth, pausing at the fresh holes. There was a warm, wet feeling between his legs and inner thighs, but the pain and shock resisted him from any shame. He did not attempt to lift himself, but instead stared up at the sky, at the glowing ball of sun, muted by swaths of gray. In the back of his head, he could feel each fragment of asphalt grinding into his skull. When he tried to turn, the shriek of his neck echoed down to his feet. But it was his hand, his right hand, that caught his attention. When he looked down at his fingers, unnaturally twisted after being wrenched from their sockets and snapped backwards, he knew, really understood, that he had, once again, said the wrong thing.
Did I steal your seat?
No, I was back there. She stole her seat.
Is this somebody's seat here?
No, just my imaginary.
Oh, you want this seat for here? Give me
Yeah, I
the
want
seat
my
back.
seat back.
Yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
sorry.
Great.
I
Okay,
get attached.
and next we have Nicole. Nicholas Serrano.
Hey, it's good to be back, man. It's like I don't know if anybody here remembers me, but I used to come here like 4 years ago now, which is a scary thing to say. It's where me and all my, friends started out, and we slowly like moved up the ranks in the community. And I met, I don't know, I remember folks like Owen Dunkel, Jeremy, a lot of those names. So it's tradition for me and my folks to just quickly whip some stuff up before we knew we'd come here tonight and then read it. So I did that with one of these. But first, I'd like to start out with a poem I wrote during my tenure at Skyline College in San Bruno, which won me an award, actually, that Rob never mailed me my check for. Shout out Janice, my teacher. So this is my second place $75 poem from 3 years ago. To make meaning out of muscle, to equate meat with man. I'm gonna start over. Sorry. To make meaning out of muscle, to equate meat with manhood when meat is meal. What have we done? Fostered a fear of fragility, a fear of having a favorite flower, a fear of feeling, a compulsion to conceal the crying beneath clothes that boys wear, a tendency to approach tenderness with timidity. There's no shame in being held, and none either in holding. There is, however, nothing to gain but a broken back, in the search for strength enough to show the world that you can carry it. My second piece today, I don't think I ever finished this one, but I like it. Yeah. Sick of stand tall, hold your chin up. I'm trying, but I can't help it. Wear my shoes, saying suicide is selfish. A fallacy of life is love, forming attachments. A bond is a tether, and a tether is a shackle to existence within systems meant not for living, but for maximizing profit. And lastly today, this one's longer. You could tell I'm rustier than those two. I don't have no wordplay no more. So here we are. My grandfather passed away when I was 5 years old. My mother was a wreck. I was there. The viewing was filled with teary-eyed titos and titas, people who did not want to believe that my Lolo had left us. I remember the feeling of feeling like I should be feeling something. Normalcy wasn't restored in my household for months. My mother became a lost child. She still has his roses in the living room. I had no tears. I lived my life this way for years, knowing things should make me happy, knowing things should make me sad. I'd brushed off my lack of reaction to subsequent familial deaths as a consequence of experience. Friends would walk out my life. Pets would die. And in each moment, the feeling returned. The feeling of feeling like I should be feeling something. Perhaps I had inherited my father's callousness. He was a military brat who never knew permanence and had become accustomed to the cold. In my later years, this manifested into apathy, which I misunderstood as indecision or an easygoing temperament. At some point, I decided to pursue the arts. My friends wrote poetry about the feelings they felt. I wrote poetry about the feelings I felt like I should be feeling. Unrequited love should make me sad. The state of the world should upset me. So on and so forth. At another point, I decided to try vulnerability. The feeling of feeling like I need to disclose feelings which I felt like I should be feeling. When you train a dog to sit, you scratch her and feed her treats until she can do it without affirmation. Vulnerability got me love in the community. Vulnerability got me an award in a magazine. Until vulnerability got me nothing. I recall consoling people in my life who had undergone loss. Through their grieving, I'd only thought about the futility of tears, that we die all the time, that every day is someone else's turn. The pandemic had come around, and I had to sit with all of these feelings. My girlfriend left me at 21. I wept. Yeah, so thank you very much for having me.
Okay, Duncan Dobson here.
He's subbing for me next week. I'm gonna ask him.
It's your first time here, Duncan?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Welcome.
Yeah, hi. It's my first time here, and I'm here with my buddy Daniel, too, and we both have books that we've put together. If you want to buy them, we don't have any change or a square, but if you have exact change, we can do that. I'm really not a performer. like I don't know how to I don't know how to use one of these things, but I'm just gonna read 3 or 4 out of this book, Second Sum. It kind of has to do with the title of the book has to do with some references to like mathematics that I make in the poems that I played around with over the years, and but this one's about an old friend of mine. It's called A Bit of the Old Abdurrahim. You are an apostrophe that fills in a space for me. You are a shorthand for what I don't understand. You are an overflow of what I want to know. You are geometry. You are hyperbole. You are my morning fix of DJ mix, music in line with a greater design. You aren't a ploy to destroy. You're not coy. You're selling me on what I can't see. You're telling me what is meant to be. Few men can stay on the straight and narrow way. We tend to stray. That's the first one. The second one is more of just like wordplay. If you've ever heard of I understand it's Malaysian style of poetry called a pantun, where you kind of alternate different lines as you go along. So I was giving that a try. So this is called Pantunic Regularity. A diamond in a cup, a man in full repose, tinfoil crumpled up. I washed him with a hose. A man in full repose, his pulse was very slight. I washed him with a hose, beneath fluorescent light. His pulse was very slight. His skin was almost blue, beneath fluorescent light, an iridescent hue. His skin was almost blue. Time will shortly stop. An iridescent hue. One piece left to drop. Time will shortly stop. Tinfoil crumpled up. One piece left to drop. A diamond in a cup. And I'll just do one more. These are 2 sonnets, actually. So they're 2, but they're short. These will be probably just finish with these. Sonnet A. The curtain ran down his side. His head was tilted back. His harmless look belied. He started to attack. He stabbed me in the heart, and I began to die. It was another start, and I began to try to open up my ears to what he had to say and what we have to fear from those who are astray. 1 + 1 = 3 makes sense to me. Sonnet B. Number is a quality of a set, describing how many a set contains. I haven't quite gotten it yet, but I don't think that I am to blame. Is 0 a number or the lack thereof? I fall into slumber when push comes to shove. Is the number 1 self-describing? Isn't it fun self-prescribing? 0 = 1 = 2 = 3. Makes sense to me.
Okay, thanks, Duncan. And Daniel Barnon? Oh, Daniel. Where are you from, Daniel?
San Francisco,
Yeah, me too. Yeah,
born and raised.
me too, yeah.
Been walking around with a little notebook to do poems for a while, so I have some poems here. Let's see, this is, I start with this. Sorry. In this room again, the walls the same, else changes. Over this strife, my life, some of me lingers here, in more of nadir's clothes, like kicking hope to start. Herein the shift improved, and as Thomas I feel the heart through my wounds. It beats somehow, and the hill of not demeaned has bright astroturf and smiling garden gnomes. These shepherds are less wrought, and even bear a smile. A gas station convenience sits in prison's waiting room, speaking in tongues. I could bathe in the waters, cried over histories, dragged in, here over decades. What more to speak of when polite lines are evened, and the walk up the slide less steep of my life? Life has learned, and as slow these steps, still as boots in mud, now stone, my feet must be fitted. It is only this human, optimistically as art, to move to more of grace, that is seen in reasoning, weighted and lifted, as honors gravity ekes, that sought peaks like a Cheshire's cat's smile, winking. And let's see, get the other one here. with these. I think just this one, I don't want to take too much time. This is a poem about a president that we may have heard about. Does Dirty Donnie take a knee, like his hand a pussy grasp? Or is Ivana Lincoln, bedroom, snap? No, not hence. Donnie's got Mike Pence on a first-class flight to really ugly plain insight. The very trauma tiny white to buy guns and glee, sink in quicksand quick and wonder where's the love. But is it really gay day play, divorcee, or used entree? Like Hugh Hefner's tits tickled Sports Illustrated bits and recovered swimwear lit by those funky sounds, like Vladimir Putin all downtown, asking for a ride from Pussy Riot, or finding the Beatles underground on Air Force One, Blue Angels playing fun for $1 million in travel gas, and Kim Jong-un needs a hand too. Grab it, rabbit, Saigon Hotel, at a salad bar gone to hell, with a carroty stink if you think a peachnik would apologize when he called the lies by clapping back like Bill Gates was selling crack to a broken Africa. Blues Clues News. Berenstein Bear, nothing there. Yet from some hotel room bar, see Harvey Weinstein fat and naked in a shower. The currency has the power to buy ugly make you leave, so for America do not grieve. Pop another leave until the flying shoes receive the fire from delight in a quiet night. No nuclear identity will power coloniality in Puerto Rico's hour of need. Indeed, so small it is to laugh at the fearless leader's gaffe of Boris and Natasha. Rocket man, rocket squirrel, come on now, just give the whirl and go to college like a girl for stem cells after midnight. And neither Merkel nor Macron will play homie to keep it on, as oil for arms marches long for Bitcoin in the daylight. Now in your love self-driving car, that you may well call bizarre, the emptying of water. And so we all may board the flight to a future out of sight, and Facebook post a friend of night, this dire perversus plight of a government that only might oligarchs plutocracy. So to meaning you and me, erase the health and taxes, while online all the faxes without paper, just slow my email down.
Thanks,
Thank
Daniel.
you.
Okay, Alan Harris.
I've been told there's a no devices rule here. We're not allowed to read from devices, so I'm breaking a rule. Try to stop me. Oh, bloody hell! See, this is why there's a no devices rule, because I can't get this fucking thing to do what it's supposed to. I'm sorry. Come on. Okay. Words are like bodily functions. It is unhealthy to suppress them. But when you do use words, make sure to avoid absolutes, because in this day and age, absolutes are obsolete. And if you continue to speak in absolutes, you might just wake up one morning to find that you have become a barely functional mess, desperate for a destination, because you find yourself on the run from the American dream while remaining quintessentially American, addicted to distraction, afflicted with a nasty case of option paralysis, always trying to cover up your plagiarism by calling it taking from life, unable to give up on the eternal quest for the right vibe, unable to learn from the mistakes of your previous lives, unable to deal with the death of coolness because there are real funerals to go to, unable to sufficiently experience the love, hope, and joy mandated by society at Christmas time because of the fear that plagues you that you were going to wake up on Christmas morning to discover Santa Claus dead on your living room floor in front of your fireplace, his heart finally having given out from shoving that big fat stomach down too many chimneys in too compressed a time frame. The inevitability of such an occurrence, no consolation for the fact that of all the fireplaces and all the living rooms in all the world, Santa had to die in front of yours.
Okay, that's it.
Thank you. This is a device called a book, in case you're wondering. Can this be lowered at all, or okay? We get it. You're short. The next person who asks me why I'm so uptight all the time is going to get stabbed in the throat. But it will not be personal. It will just be the stress talking. My body having been flooded with stress hormones by my nervous system, which is very appropriately named, as it is a very nervous system indeed. Besieged as it is on all sides by external forces such as compulsive competitors and bespectacled cavemen and intimidating word buttons and chaotic parking lots and apocalyptic busywork and walking, talking quotation marks and disgusting food like bacon butter and the IRS, which, as we all know, is the collection agency of socialism, and bad guys with guns, and good guys with guns, and pretty much anyone with guns, and self-hating old white guys reaching for that one last gasp of relevance who checked out the moment that they were born, having immediately become overwhelmed by the countless opportunities afforded them for complete and utter self-involvement, and, of course, the limitations of existence. Existing being something of which I personally have never quite gotten the hang. I mean, obviously, I possess the ability to exist, as I am indeed here, now, reading this. I'm just not good at existing. I'm not comfortable with it. It's not something that comes naturally to me. I have to work at it. It's a constant struggle, day in and day out, having to remind myself not to try and eat broth with chopsticks. Not to try and get laughs by laying down in the middle of the street and pretending to be a speed bump. Not to propose marriage to my best friend's girlfriend's left leg. Not to say out loud things like, "Oh my God, that nun is hot." And not to be content with the fact that, while I'm a weirdo, at least I am a wholesome weirdo, besieged as I am on all sides by the eclecticism of my own mistakes and the memory of that one piece of advice that my father ever gave me. Son, when all else fails, just do an imitation of your existence. Thank you. Can I do one more? Okay.
No, okay, of course. Of course. As long as it's on your device.
Okay. This it is on my device. Yes. So this is my attempt to make sense of a bad relationship that I was in. So it's even more negative and hostile than normal. So it has curse words in it and everything. On a good day, she could be euphoria on a molecular level, and a hug from her could be better than any sex I've ever had. And while I would do anything for money, on a good day, I could love her for free. But she could also be classically, strikingly, comprehensively psychotic. She had a tendency to literally stab me in the back. She said that she wanted to name our first child thiamine mononitrate. And she was a pathological liar who once told me that her family was very wealthy because her great-great-great-great-great-grandfather had invented the bowel movement, and therefore her family receives a residual payment each time someone takes a dump. But I thought I could live with all that. After all, no one is perfect. So I idealized her sociopathy, ignored the toxicity of her disingenuousness, did my best to deflect her insulting compliments and cheerful condescension and ironic respect. I was totally a prisoner of everything about her. And how can one person mean so much to another? It's surreal. And how can the surreal cross over so quickly into the all too real? Is it because reality is such a fragile thing that if you move just 1/8 of an inch to the left of reality, or let the statute of limitations run out on reality, or try to play both sides of reality against each other, that you're going to find yourself dating an irresistible irrationality? And I envy my friends because they are nice people who like to live in the present, while I insist on living in the past because that's where she is. And I can't even remember the last time I had a memory that wasn't of her. It's a kind of decomposing of the living that has turned me into a distraught, anxious, unstable, neurotic, maladjusted, overwrought bundle of nerves who insists on an apology from anyone who is in a good mood and who never leaves the house without wearing at least 800 pairs of sweatpants, and who wakes up every Monday morning at exactly 12:01 a.m. and decides that it's going to be a terrible week, and then picks up one of the 1,200 copies that he owns of her first published memoir, which is entitled The Inconvenience of the Soul, aka Time Flies When You're Full of Shit. Okay.
Thank you, Alan. Okay. So, we will end. Thank you, Alan. That was great. As usual. Totally great. Alright, so I'm going to end with the song.
I want something.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Person.
Oh, please. Please do.
Hold on.
Oh, please
I'll
do.
read from my device.
It's not a note from your device.
Nowhere.
Let's do
Just
it.
pull it up.
Get up to the stage then.
I will.
Tell us your name.
Okay. Oh, wow. On a whim. I'm Christine. Hello. I didn't know I was gonna read today, but this one I wrote. My mom is a nurse, and we both provide care for my grandma, who we call Nanay. So I wrote this as a present to her for Christmas, and it's just to document our time together right now. Ma, you take off your scrubs in the garage after every graveyard shift and enter the house only wearing underwear. At breakfast, you inventory the previous night, recounting stories of newborn babies, anxious mothers, and fed-up nurses. On nights you have off, I stay up late with you as you triple check your timesheet and then your schedule. You mark the calendar for every night you're called in. Dates unmarked on the calendar fill up with doctor's appointments and insurance calls. You complain the house is always messy and home feels like a second and third shift. Would the clock ever stop? Would the calendar ever be free? Ma, you said if you were tired it wasn't safe, that your eyelids get heavy on the drive home, that one mistake could cost your license, that someone's care would always be compromised. Ma, the moment the doctor said your cancer cells were in remission, there were already plans to return Nanay Chat to your care. Ma, could the care work fall on anybody else? I want you to rest. Ma, Ma, you asked me how to use Zoom for your union meetings, and I listened every night leading up to the strike. The newly graduated nurses were scared of losing their jobs. You told them not to be afraid. Ma, be careful, I said. When you stick your body outside the car window, you and Ninang Leah were exclaiming with joy as we drove down the blocks of nurses with picket signs. We honked our horn as my titas in the crowd took pictures of you. Ma, at home, I'm at your side, ready to relieve you of an extra shift. It's been a long night moving through the choreography of care. You go straight to your room to pray. Ma, you practice the TikTok choreo for Dancing Queen. You asked me to teach you how to sway your hips so you can be the star of your unit's flash mob. We turn up the music. Hours pass. We dance all night. Ma, tell me about what you were like at my age. Did you dance as much as I do? Tell me about how you pass time.
Oh, thank you very much. That was a surprise. All right. So, like I say, I'm going to end this festivity with a song. It's called I'm Gonna Bring It On Home. Baby, I'm gonna bring it on home to you. I done bought my ticket, I got my load. Conductor hollow, all aboard now. Will I take my seat, railway back, and watch this train move down the track? Baby, well, I think about the good time I once have had. My soul got happy, my heart got glad. Oh, well, I think about the way I love you too. You can bet your life I'm coming home to you. Well, once there was an engineer, and he drove the number 9. And he had a little monkey, and he used to put the monkey on a stool. And that little monkey watching everything that the engineer do. Well, one day he pulls into the draw to get that water, and he gets out to have a little espresso. And the monkey threw in the throttle, and away we go, sing, baby, baby. Well, the monkey got the engine going down the line, left the engineer with a worried mind. Well, the engineer got the dispatcher on the line. He says, Mr. Engineer, have you seen that number 9 of mine? And the engineer stuck his little bald head out the window and looked into the yard. He said, don't you worry, baby, everything's all right. The monkey got the number 9 sewed up tight. Baby, I'm gonna bring it on home. I'm gonna bring it on home. I'm gonna bring it on home. Bring it on home. I'm gonna bring it on home. Bring it on home to you.
Everyone for coming tonight.
Yeah.
Oh man, oh man. Yeah, I wish there was some chips too. Oh, there are a few chips. Oh man, there's $1.
We should give it to him for that.
For real. No, I'm gonna get at that. I'm gonna get at that. I'm gonna get at that right now. He's gonna pay you.
So I put in $1. I gotta put in another $1 so you each have $1. No, that's a symbolic dollar. You
Oh, thank
You
you.
don't have to spend it, Janice.
We'll just keep it. Thank you so much.
This for
No,
me.
thank you so much. That was really good to be back. Oh, very nice.
Does Gregory Pons still come here?
Who?
Greg Pons?
I know that name, but so many other names you mentioned, like Owen. Yeah, he hasn't come back since COVID.
I saw Owen tonight. That's the other reading I went to. Yeah, I'm surprised he doesn't come.
Yeah, I don't know. I wanted to see him, yes.
Maybe two readings ago.
So the thing is on Thursday now?
Yeah, it's
Oh,
Thursday.
it used to be Wednesday, right?
It used to be Tuesday. Yeah, but luckily it's earlier in the day, so
But still,
people
yeah.
could if they wanted to.
Yeah.
Have you heard anything from, do you remember Vincent? He came here a few times.
Good night.
Hey, thanks, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Wow. Maybe I can't become a fan, but
It's always great to hear you, man.
Yeah. You
Every
too.
time. It's
I love your
hit,
music.
yeah. Oh, thanks. No. Thanks for coming all the time. Yeah.
No, it's
Yeah.
great. I love it here.
Yeah.
It's a great space.
Oh well, I was staying in the Castro with my mom. Last couple of years, have you been to my place in the Mission ever?
Your home? You mean?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. So. Okay, man. Well, yeah. Good to see you, man.
Yeah.
All right.
Take care.